How's it going, everybody? My name is Jack. I'm a commercial pilot and a flight instructor, and in today's Foreflight video, we're going to talk about some of the newest updates that Foreflight has came out with. And some of them are really cool. There's summer updates that they just hit the market with, so this is going to go through just those extra features. So that being said, let's jump right into it.
I'm Jack, a commercial pilot and CFI. Flying has always been a passion of mine, and I love being able to share that experience as a pilot and instructor for those who are curious about soaring through the sky. I hope you enjoy today's video, that you fasten your seatbelt, and that you enjoy the ride.
I'm going to go kind of quick on this first one here because this first update is very, very easy to use. When you go to dynamic procedures here, we'll just pick a random airport. We'll go Cincinnati, for example. If I were to map, or I just take this simple route from here, right, and I were to insert after, if I were to do a SID, if I were to go in the procedures here, I can actually now load SIDs depending on which way I was supposed to go. So what's cool about this now is you can actually now, instead of having to worry about where you are in the map and what's going on with actual like waypoints and everything with your SIDs and then having to look at different charts, it actually shows you all of the SIDs that come with Foreflight here on the side, which I think is really cool. So that's really like the first big thing that is important with Foreflight in these updates is the SIDs now are incorporated into your sidebar here with dynamic procedures. So it's something that I think people may or may not understand until they actually need to use them. But this is something that is definitely worth using if you do have this update for Foreflight, because what this allows you to do is it allows you to brief everything now from your stars to your SIDs to your approaches all in one thing. And you can preload it in here to where all you got to do is click the next thing and boom, move on. So if I were to show you what the arrival looks like now for here, let's just say we're doing the localizer vectors to final, right? I did that. If I were to add that to route now, what you can see is you have two options in here now on the side here, right? You have the Bengal 5, and then you have the approach, in this case, the localizer 2-3 into Grissom. This is cool because you can pre-program everything down the list, and it makes it super convenient to just go in and out with what you want to do from A to B to C to D. And it gives you everything again right here where you can just click this one, click the back arrow, and then go to the departure procedure if you wanted to, or vice versa. So again, this is something that is really cool that goes right into the gate of kind of how you could use this right away, which is fun. So yeah, the first one was really cool. The second update, and this is what I'm going to talk about a lot, is in a previous video, I hit on how you can actually like use the drawing tool and how you can use the waypoint tool. I'll link that video down below if you want to go see that. But this one specifically is really cool because over here on the left, you'll see this little pencil icon. You click the pencil icon, and now you have this nice sidebar. And this sidebar is really what we're going to hone in on. Like every update you'd get in Foreflight, right? You could draw in here and you could do what you want. It's kind of cool. If I were to now use my Apple Pencil here, so if I were to use my Apple Pencil and be able to draw in here now, right? The first thing that's really nice about this new side tool is there is an instant clear annotations. So whatever you draw, it's instantly boom, you click it and it clears it. That's the amazing part. The second thing is all these little tools that are like right here when I click on them. This little line tool, first off, you actually can now draw lines from A to B like this. Like I could do like an X or a plus sign here, which is kind of cool. And these lines, keep in mind, are great because you can actually now click on them and you don't even have to redraw them. You can change the color right here. You can change the opacity and how thick you want to see them or how little you want to see them. So that's what's really cool about this. You can order top to bottom. So if you wanted to layer them, you could do it that way as well. And this is the most convenient part that I think is really cool. You can move your drawings now. So if you were to draw something super far away and then move it to a different part of the map, you don't have to go ahead and redraw it. You can just click it and then move it, which is cool. The other thing that I think is awesome is the rotation angle. You can click the rotation and then you can actually change the rotation of it by using one of these, which I think is really awesome. So this is something that people I definitely think are going to be figuring out how to use. I needed this during survey to figure out lines going from A to B because this was something that was very handy back in the day for what I was doing before. This also is a great tool for figuring out like practice areas or boxes. If you want to know where to go for a specific area, all you got to do with the circle icon is click it and then you can draw like this massive red circle here. Like let's say you're going to use this massive red circle for whatever reason why. Same thing. You can change the color of it with the stroke. You can change how it fills out. So like I can put green on the outside and you can see it's blue on the inside. That's cool. You can also change how thick it is. So if it was 100%, you can see you can't see anything in. 10%, it's barely there. I think that's cool. No rotation, obviously, of the circle because it's a circle, but then you can also move that around and you can change the angle of it, which I think is the coolest part about this update. So I'm going to just delete this now and kind of show you the same thing with the square. All right, you can take squares now, do the exact same thing, move it, close it, which is really nice. But this is the part that I think is cool about this feature. When you go here, if you were to go to Morrow County, for example, if I were to make a square here, right, I can make a square over the top here, and I can change the dimensions of it. I can change how the coordinates go and everything's going there, but I can also then see the nautical mileage right there. If I want it to be 4 nautical miles even, I could then get an idea of what that looks like, and I can measure an exact area based on that, which I think is the coolest thing. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this update. You can also lock it, which I think is cool. So like now you can't even move it. It's just stuck there, which is really cool with the lock. So if you want to just not delete it, it'll stay there forever, which I think is great. So that's something that you can definitely use. And you can see too, if I were to zoom out, move right back in, it just stays there and it gives you that idea of where to go and what to look for in that practice area, which is awesome. So again, this is something that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. And this is definitely a nice touch Foreflight added with this whole update. The only other thing I was going to talk about as well with this update is down here at the bottom, right? You can see this like stroke changer, right? You can change your color of it based on what you want to do for the inside and the outside. And you can also change the thickness. So this is where you change your tool and how thick or how thin you want it to be, which is kind of cool. So, and you can also change it to be no opacity, no color, which is nice. So there's a lot of cool things that you can use with that. And again, I think it's something that people are definitely going to enjoy. You also have this last thing right here where you can just actually drag all your writing now and kind of move it around with the little mouse icon there, which is kind of nice. And then obviously you want to lock it, you can lock it, which is great. So again, the stylus tool with the Apple Pencil is probably the most convenient thing about this update. I will say the perks of having this update is that IFR bundle, because the stylus allows you to then pair it with everything else you have knowing IFR charts and plates. And I'll kind of give you an example of that here in a second. If we were to go back to say Grissom here, right? You wanted to see kind of where you were going. Normally, I would just go into the plates option and you could highlight what you wanted to do there. Or thanks to this new tool now, let's say I wanted to just highlight in here, right? Opacity, let's change my thickness to like 50%, 60%. I can now go in here and I can highlight all these different things that I wanted to originally, which is really cool. So I'll change the thickness and clear it. But you can now highlight all the things that you want to read on the plate before you even get there when it's on the map, so then you can get yourself ready to go for the approach, which is really nice and a cool feature to just kind of, again, quickly see what you want to do with it and know what you're getting yourself into in terms of all the different approaches and all the different SIDS and stars you might be on, which I think is really fun. So again, this update has a lot of more functionality with the stylus option. And if you are a hardcore Foreflight user with the Apple Pencil, I highly recommend you take a look at this because there's a lot of cool things you can do with this feature. And this is definitely something that I'm going to continue using, but in more so now with my Apple Pencil rather than just my fingers, because this again is very functional now for the Apple Pencil user. And then last but not least, we have a very small update that I think you should know about because this is kind of funny. Down here, right, you can see we have the Gulf of America update, right? That's a pretty big one. The other big update as of last night into this morning is we got Palm Beach now being recognized as President Donald J. Trump International Airport. And you normally would think that that's not that big of a deal. But when I went to the download section of my Foreflight itself, if I were to find it, I had like 500 millibytes worth of storage that I needed to free up for this update. There's a lot of things in here that needed to be fixed because of the name change, which I think is dumb. They paired it up as well with kind of like a database update, so they did more than just that. But the biggest thing with this little change to Palm Beach is there's a lot of things that you may not expect to have storage until you need it. So if you are looking to get a new iPad with that last video that I said, I would highly recommend you get an iPad that has more storage for something like that, because Foreflight will quickly take up a ton of space on your iPad. So Fortnite right now is taking about 500 millibytes of storage on my iPad right now, which is not a whole lot. But if you have it long enough, it could take up gigabytes. And I'm talking like 5 to 6 gigabytes if you leave that old storage on there. So it's important to just look and see what data you need and what data you don't need. Like if you want charts from certain states, but you have no space in your iPad, just go through your downloads real quick and get rid of that stuff, because half of it you may not even need. And that's something that you're definitely going to have to worry about if your iPad has low storage, because it will always, always, always not delete it for you unless you ask it to. So really go through, know your iPad, know your storage, and do your best to just, again, kind of clear all that stuff out, because really that's the biggest thing that you need to do. But with all that being said, this is the first of many quick little videos I'm going to be making in this setting. This is the crash pad that I'm at for my job. So this is where I'm just kind of hanging out most of the time. I'm going to get better lighting. I'm going to get a better video coming out here with some better stuff in the future. But until then, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, I have other places you can check me out as well, both on my Instagram and my website. You can go check out above here. If you also did enjoy and you would like to see more of my content, I got videos linked down below as well as on my channel. You can go ahead and subscribe if you wanted to. Not asking you to, but if you like what you see, I post more videos like this every single week, so I hope you choose to stick around if that's something that you want to do. And then finally, because I've done a lot of Foreflight videos and I've received a lot of positive feedback, let me know down below if you want to see exactly what I do in a course or in a way that allows me to kind of go in depth with how I actually do things, because I can only do so much in these videos before you guys are like, okay, this is too long of a video for me to watch. I gotta kind of turn my attention somewhere else. So if you would like a course, you would like more info on kind of what I do specifically with Foreflight and how I actually get all of these settings or all of these changes in my own way and how I use them, let me know down below, because I would love to help you guys out with that if that's something that you're interested in. But with all that being said, sorry for the bad camera and the bad lighting. I'm going to get it fixed next video or in a couple of videos. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. And yeah, hope to see you guys around soon. See ya.